When you transform an object or objects, you also have the option to choose the center around which those transformations take place. In other words, you could have an object rotate around another object, or you could have a bunch of objects rotate around their common center. And that's actually the default behavior. If I go to the Rotate tool, and I'm in View Coordinate System, over here on the right, I've got a button, and that button will change depending upon what I select. Right now, it says, the tool tip actually says use pivot point center. But if I select multiple objects, let's say I drag a rectangle, select all of these, now that button has changed and it says use selection center. And you can see that the rotate gizmo is in the common center of all of those objects. Or more specifically, the rotate gizmo is placed at the common center of all of the pivot points for those objects, or the anchor points. So I can rotate all of those around their selection center. Or I could go up to this button, which is a flyout, and hold that button down and choose a different option. The one on the top is use pivot point center. And when I activate that, now each and every object will rotate around its own pivot point or its own coordinate system. Let's use pivot point center. And then finally, we've also got use transform coordinate center, which is the bottommost icon on this flyout. And in this mode, you can choose what you want to rotate around. To do that, you have to choose a reference here from the pull down. If you just have view selected, which is the default, then you're just going to be transforming around the selection center. But if we choose something else, we'll get a different result. I'll choose world. And now the rotate gizmo is positioned at the origin or the center of the world. And I can rotate all the objects around the origin. If I wanted, I could rotate all the objects around some other object. And to do that, I would go up to the pull-down list here and choose Pick. Once I click on that Pick, then I need to select the object that I want to be my reference. I go over here and click on this cone. And now that's the center for transformations. And when I rotate, everything's going to spin around that cone. So if you choose Transform Coordinate Center here at the bottom, then you also have to make a choice here. And if I want to, I could switch back to View, and that's actually going to default back to use Selection Center. Or I could go back to that cone that I picked earlier and rotate around it. These rules apply to objects as well as sub-objects or parts of objects. And they come in very handy when you want to manipulate a whole bunch of faces or vertices, for example. That's how transform centers work in 3ds Max.